Welcome back to page 121. It's December 1984. Prince is on the radio, raining purple everywhere. And Stevie Wonder just called to say I love you. And we were buying this issue of The Dragon just before Christmas, 1984. We're going to take a look at it. Dragon number 92. In the issue, we are promised for our $3 D&D game adventure, spotlight on clerics, and pages from the mages. And a really good cover. I always like that cover. So here we go. Holiday gifts, not just anything will do. Keep that in mind. Christmas is coming in 1984. You want to get just the right thing. From Rail Partha Enterprises out of Ontario, Canada. Rail Partha had beautiful figures. They're still around. You can still buy them online. When the Smoke Clears, Middle Earth Appears. From Iron Crown Enterprises. When they held the Tolkien Estate license. They held that for a number of years. Our table of contents for December 1984. Telling the Future Without a Crystal Ball. This is the editorial. Letters to the editor right here. J&D gaming boards could be bought for Christmas. No More Messy Water. Made from lightweight metal alloy. J&D Gaming out of Wichita, Kansas. You get a board for the low price of $38 to $45. Continuing on, we have Unitrays. Storage trays with snap-on lids. They're quite good, says Autoduel Quarterly. For Fantasy Gamer from Close Simulations, Northbrook, Illinois. Store your figures and your dice. That's still a popular thing in D&D. Experience a legend in TSR's first AD&D fantasy novel, Dragons of Autumn Twilight. I remember buying this guy off the shelf from TSR. Clerics Live by Other Rules. Giving and Taking Away Can Be Okay by Gary Gygax. A little bit of Gygax as we wound down 1984. Gary wasn't contributing much to Dragon these days. He was busy in Hollywood and doing other things. Recon, because the last American heroes weren't in World War II. This is a small elite special operations game, and it is from Alvin, Texas. Jaroon, the story so far. Now You Die, Throttle Fool. Jaroon role-playing. From Skyrealms Publishing out of San Francisco, California. I'm not familiar with Jaroon. I'm not even sure I'm saying Jaroon properly. First, spread the faith. Clerics need to keep their mission in mind. When I have players at the table playing a cleric, I like to see when they take a little minute to tap the other characters and say, hey, do you want to hear about what my deity can do for you? So continuing on, we have Duel Masters, exciting new play-by-mail game out of Tempe, Arizona. And Element Masters, fantasy role-playing game. Games were popping up like crazy in the mid-'80s. This would continue on through the late 80s. You just have all these companies pop up with, one game or two games, and some would make it and some wouldn't. At Last from Citadel for Canadians, Rapham Company Incorporated minis. Love the Rapham stuff. The More the Merrier, how clerics can find new followers. Different ways for your clerics to find more followers. Clerics were never heavy presence in our campaigns. There was usually one or two clerics in a game. I don't remember ever really. I think I had one game at that old club I used to be in where I had 3 clerics at the table, all 3 with different deities. That was kind of neat because we did get some good role playing with that as they basically argued whose god was best. But clerics have never been a big mover and shaker at our table. We've only had 2 get up to pretty significant levels in my current group. So I didn't use this article a ton, unfortunately. Halt Intruder, the Complete Strategist, a set of RPG games on American East Coast. Generate character in an instant for most fantasy role-playing games. Weather in an instant for any gaming system from Game Aids out of Harvard, Illinois. Continuing on, how to find followers for the clerics. 4 exciting games suited to everyone's taste. Talisman, Battle Cards, Doctor Who, and Golden Heroes from Games Workshop. That's the U.S. branch of it out of Columbia, Maryland. A Better Open, It Figures, a list of winners and a look at why they won. Different minis that have been painted up and look gorgeous. I was always so jealous of these. That looks outstanding. Okay. And then we have Feudal Lords. These finishing out the article. And then we have Feudal Lords, the complete medieval play-by-mail game of economic development, military conquest, and political intrigue out of Graph Simulations, St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Coming attractions. Secret Wars. Ah, yeah, Secret Wars in the comic books was still a thing. 2010 Odyssey 2 minis. 2010 was the follow-up to 2001. The movie starred Roy Scheider, and it was out in 1984. The Adventures of Indiana Jones metal minis. Oh, look at that. Gods of the Sul Pantheon. Lydia, Brahm, and Jaskar. By Len Lakofka. The Ideal Mapping System. Ideal Mapping System, let's see, out of Chicago, Illinois. Continuing on our gods. A Dragon a Day Keeps Mollygrubs Away. Nichols Services out of Columbus, Georgia. What did these guys offer us? Amulet introduces The Guardian. Only one vision, only one mission. Amulet out of Detroit, Michigan. I gamed with a lot of people, usually at open table events or at the old club I used to be, that would wear a lot of different pins and medallions. It was kind of a big thing in the mid-'80s. And they'd show up and they'd have all these little things. They always wanted to show them to you. It was kind of interesting. Villains and Vigilantes from Fantasy Games Unlimited. These guys are out of Roslyn, New York. Let the Horse Buyer Beware, separating the stallions from the swaybacks. This was something that was big in our game. We would have a lot of conversations about buying good horse flesh. Who knew what to look for and things like that. If they had animal handling horses or the riding skill, which came up later, then we would allow it. But Cavaliers and Paladins both had it too. So a lot of times if we were buying horses in a town or whatever, we'd turn to the Paladin or the Cavalier and say, hey, pick us out good ones. James Clavell's Shogun, a new strategy game of treachery and power. Shogun game out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Weapons and Armor, Weapons and Castles, Weapons and Assassins. All this from Palladian Books out of Detroit, Michigan. One path leads to night, creatures who live to destroy. Another is to a castle holding untold riches. Endless Quest books. Endless Quest books were still relatively new. I think they were invented about 78 or 79. TSR jumped in and did a whole series of them. They even did a 1 or 2 Gamma World. They're hard to find now, but pretty interesting. The Ecology of the Etin. I love Etins or Etins, depending on how you want to say it. I always love this monster. I love the idea of one head being awake, one head being asleep, as it's often depicted in various adventures. MMI presents Fortress, Megaloth, and The Guardian, 2 full-size booklets for use with any fantasy role-playing game out of Redding, California. Game Grid Sheets, the original and the largest. And Dickey Associates out of Oakland, California. And then 1985 Dragon Riders of Pern calendar from Mayfair Games. Right on. You've got a question, send it to us. And then we have Champions Plus, the Hero System. Hero System was getting really big by 84. I played Champions. I didn't really play the other games, but I have everything on this Champions page, on this side of the book, plus the Adventures Club. And in Illinois, where could I have gone to get these? I know we had a bunch, because I bought a bunch in Illinois back in the day. Crocs and Brentanos. I do remember seeing some Champion stuff at Crocs and Brentanos, K&B, and different hobby stores. There's Games Plus, as always. Is Pat's on here? Lyle's Hobby, Craft that used to be there. Shannon Books and Video. Wow, Shannon was still around in Tinley Park. They were actually people I knew personally. I gamed with them for a long time, but our group split off from them after a little bit. And they had a store only about 3 miles from my house. That's how I actually found them. Pages from Mages 3, 4 more magic books, courtesy of Elminster. I used to stick these in my campaign. I'd pick one of the books. I'd read about it. I'd pick one of the books, and then I'd put it into the campaign as a MacGuffin for my players. And then we have Illuminati, a fast, exciting new play-by-mail from Adventure Systems out of Houston, Texas. From Steve Jackson Games. Silver Dawn, $5,000 quest tournament. This has been going on for a while now. Out of Entertainment Concepts out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Continuing on that. From Castle Creations, 5 New Dragons. Castle Creations out of Columbus, Ohio. And we have the companions to Roleplay Campaign and Adventure Aids. Curse of Harith, Plague of Terror, Streets of Gems, Brotherhood of the Bolt from Bath, Maine. Then we continue on with our article with the some new spells that are found in those books. And then we can cast our own fantasy figures for the Duncan Company in Calvert, Texas. And Some Refuse to Die in the Aftermath. Fantasy Games Unlimited. The guys who originally brought us Space Opera. An ad for Thieves Guild. Completely revised 2nd edition from Game Lords out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. I read some of the Thieves Guild stuff. It wasn't for me. Book reviews. From a Monastery Through a Quest to a Castle. Literature with a flavor gamers will like. The Name of the Rose. I remember that became a big thing. Castles by Alan Lee. New and exciting 3D laser cut holographic crystal disc. $20. COD only. Cash on delivery. That's what COD stands for. Ralph Partha's Champion of Chaos on foot. And these were the Unicorn Holographics Limited Suite 522 in Boston, Massachusetts. Indiana Jones. If adventure has a game, it must be Indiana Jones. From TSR. Adventurers seek an elusive elf who holds the Sword of Justice. This is a D&D game. D&D and AD&D were very, very close. So if you had something for one, you could easily move it over to the other. It wasn't really that tough to do. This adventure is by John Matson. Don't really remember this adventure. And then we have Earthwood, Dawn of the Ancients, out of Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida. It's a fantasy world. Strategic play by mail. Look for the yellow label at participating retailers and save up to 65% on dozens of popular TSR products. It's a birthday celebration, just in time for Christmas, 1984. For the 10th anniversary, this is the bonus pack. Wait for TSR to kind of clear out their warehouse a little bit, turn some cash on them. I do remember seeing these, but I already had all the modules inside. And it was with the purchase of any hardbound AD&D book, and I already had all the hardbounds, so of limited use to me. And here's the list of where they were. Wow. Illinois. Again, you have a lot. Westmont, you had Lyle's Hobbies. You have anybody in Tinley Park? Oak Forest, Tinley Park. We have Models, Hobbies, and Crafts. Oh my gosh. Models. I helped him move into that store. That was the guy who sponsored our gaming club. That was a long, long time ago. Okay, continuing on. New Heights and Silliness. Toon players. Why, for them, failure is half the fun by Steve Jackson Games. So that's a nice review for it. More Than Just Role-Playing, the complete fantasy series. These are Bard Games out of Greenwich, Connecticut. Going Up and Getting Wet, How Dragon Quest natives climb and swim. I played a little Dragon Quest under one of the DMs from our group. And then More Than Just a Con, an island adventure, Hawaii Con 85, May 17th, 18th, and 19th. Wow, that's interesting. You could have gone to Honolulu, Hawaii for it. Ralph Partha meets Rune Quest. Love these beautiful figures. The Multidimensional Caper. Let's try that one again. The Multidimensional Caper by Mark Akers. A little short fiction for you, set in present day. I almost never read the present day stuff. Aries, science fiction gaming section. And right there I see Galactus, Nova, Terrax, and the Silver Surfer. So I knew I was in for some excitement for the Marvel role-playing game. I didn't play that. I played it once or twice. I tried it, but we stayed with Champions. Here's our Aries section. Table of contents. Shows us the folks on the cover. The $6 Million Mutant. Cyborgs in the Gamma World game. I used the heck out of this article. This is about the most useful article in this issue for me. And then we have We're Looking for You. We can show you how to get the most value for your gaming dollar. Join the Discount Buyers Group. Discount Buyers Group out of Springfield, Missouri. Do it today. And then continuing on, Alien Minds. In Traveler, aliens aren't just people in funny suits. Or head aliens, as we used to call them in Star Trek. Traveler, Game Designer's Workshop. Traveler has always done a very nice job developing different alien races. Adventure in the Spaceways with Star Ace role-playing game. This is not one I got into. I was already playing Traveler. I had Space Opera and I had Star Frontiers. So I didn't buy into this. If you did, from Pace Setter, let me know what you thought. I know these are very rare to find now. The Marvel File, Heralds of Galactus by Jeff Grubb. I always liked reading up on the Marvel File. I read this a lot. Cyworld from Fantasy Games Unlimited. role-playing game of psionic powers, and these is out of Roslyn, New York. It's clobbering time. The Marvel Superheroes role-playing game from TSR. Continuing on our article about Galactus' Heralds, Chivalry and Sorcery, new completely revised box edition from Fantasy Games Unlimited, and Daredevils Have Adventures from Fantasy Games Unlimited. Star Questions, Questions, Answers, and Advice on Star Frontiers Gaming by Penny Petticord and Ed Greenwood. I like Star Frontiers. That was so much fun. Heroes Unlimited from Palladium and the Palladium role-playing game Book 2, Old Ones. Palladium did a lot of stuff. I never really played their stuff. Amazing, January of 85 on sale now. January of 85, wow, and this is only December of 84. Anne McAfee's Dragon Riders of Pern come to life. Nova Game Designs. These are the picture book fight each other games. Gamer's Guide, some kind of smaller personal ads for stuff you could buy for D&D or for any game. The Index of Advertisers. Convention calendar. We could go to all these conventions in 85. Let's do it. I didn't go to Gen Con in 85. My wife actually did with some of our group. I was out of town on work and originally was supposed to be home in time to go, but I didn't make it. I was trapped in Florida. The Armory paint chart. All the different colors and where you can find it. And of course, I always look in Illinois. Games Plus in Mount Prospect. In Waukegan, Illinois, we have Pegasus Hobbies. Wormy. Gotta like Wormy. Only 2 pages of Wormy. Dragon Mirth. Smells like dwarf, but it sounds like a knight. Rattle, rattle. He's getting a Christmas gift. I like some of the Dragon Mirth. Some of those were really fun. And Snarf Quest. Continuing on our Snarf Quest. And we finish with an ad for Paranoia, the role-playing game of darkly humorous future. And that's still available through Mongoose Publishing. They have a new edition, just came out a year or two ago. And then the back ad, of course, Middle-earth role-playing system, MERPS. When Iron Crown Enterprises had the Tolkien Estate license, they put out some really good products based on Middle-earth. I tried playing Middle-earth in D&D. I actually started a campaign long time ago, probably 81 or so. It didn't really work. The magic was a little too low, and I couldn't keep the flavor and do D&D in it. At least I found it really tough to do. My players like higher magic, always have, and it was just tough to do. But there you have it. That's it for Dragon Magazine 1984 December issue. We're finishing out 1984. 1985 beckons. We're very excited about it. But that's all I've got for today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you thought. Leave any comments below. Take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.